Welcome everyone to the AI Arena stream. Today we are going to have a lot of nice games and hopefully other peoples also will be joining to
Yes,
the
hi.
voice chat. Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Pretty well, but tired because lots of work to do, but I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much. How it's been? Are you been updating your bot lately?
The last days I wrote an update for some harassment behavior, but I didn't see a good replay for this at the moment.
Okay, we will see those later on.
Maybe.
I will start up queuing up the games, so we will start from there. First one will actually be Spot versus Lizzie. Distracting Overlords is the name of the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is one of your games. So I think it will be interesting for us to see what's going on there.
Yeah, they are shown some behavior which I've seen on some enemy bots on my replays, and it's quite funny to see, I think.
I think you're absolutely correct. We will see what's going to happen. Next game will be Micro Machine versus Sharkbot. I think this is one of the necessary games that we have to see every week. So Micro Machine is able to lose also on the ladder.
Oh, this happens.
Yeah, it seems to happen weekly.
He does this for the stream.
Yeah, I think so. Next game will be. Uh, my voice is low. Is that correct?
I hear you pretty well. I have no problem.
I can try to adjust that in a few seconds. I will try to do that immediately. Unfortunately, it seems my microphone sensitivity is at the maximum at the moment, so I can't help anymore regarding the voice level.
Okay, I just listened to you into the Discord, so maybe I got a different voice.
Yeah, it will be. Uh, it's not so good quality on the stream as it is
Mm.
in the Discord. I mean the stream. Yeah. Anyways, next game will be between Chance and Additional Pylons. Chance is my favorite bot at the moment. It's playing so weird games that I wanted to see what's going on against Additional Pylons. And we are also going to have Ketrock versus Mavbot, and it will be containing Void Rays and Vikings.
I think when the people have problems to understand you, they could join the Discord channel.
Yeah, if you're on the stream and you're able to join the Discord, please do so. Even if you're just listening, that would be better for the voice, anyways, for you guys. And this is something I wanted to see where there's Lucid, uh, PageES, I think Protos, JavaScript versus Prism Beams. I think it could be interesting game. I just wanted to check this out on the stream also.
Hey guys.
How's the talk?
Hello, Ketrock. welcome to the stream again. Actually, I just queued up game between Additional Pylons and Ketrock. So you will be starring the show 2 times today. And yeah, next game will be Whalemean versus Lizzie. I think this is one of games I just queued up. Annie versus Tur, and last one will be Tur P versus Bomb Shaker.
I don't seem to be able to hear you guys. Weird.
Okay, the first game starting Lizzie versus Spud.
This is one of the version where I implemented the overlord scouting, but the enemy got really distracted by this.
Okay, sounds good. So you're actively scouting enemy overlords on the map.
I'm not on the map in the enemy main base, but the opponent doesn't like it and always hunting the overlord.
Okay, I understand.
But I think you will see.
Reaper is able to do so much damage on your
Yeah,
main, unfortunately.
The Reaper micro is insane, and I always I can never kill this until my greens are out. When I watched the stream last week, the music was off. Is this normal?
Probably I forgot to turn the music on after the last stream, so it's
Ah,
supposed
okay.
to be on after our community
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, I assumed that you forgot to turn it on again.
Yeah, I'll try to remember to do that after this stream.
Yeah.
Actually, even the Spot was able to take a few workers at the beginning. It seems that you're able to make up that at this point you have so big worker lead at the moment. And I think your overlord is doing quite a bit of job on the top right-hand corner. Spud seems to be making attempts to kill your overlord and going back and forth with the main army.
Yeah. They always trying to hunt the overlord, but the overlord runs away, and then he comes back into the main base, and it's happened the whole game. And so now the Terran army is so tiny that my links can overrun them.
Are you manually detonating those banelings, or are those just
No, just
a move?
A move at the moment. So mostly they run
Okay.
straight into the tanks, so it's not that good. But as long as the worker lead is there, that's the important part, to have more workers than the enemy. And Spud didn't produce many workers this game. I don't know why. We are 8 minutes in the game and he have only 15 workers. Not that much.
Probably it has something to do with the overlord distraction.
Maybe he was planning on a 2-base push, but couldn't do this in time because of the overlord. I don't know. But as
Seems
soon
that
as
you're making a lot of. Yeah, go ahead.
as soon as my overlord dies in the main race, I will replace him with an overseer, which is quicker and harder to kill.
Okay, so basically you do have the distraction up all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be a distraction. This was the order to scout the enemy main base and the units.
Okay, so this is a accidental benefit for the scouting. Bringing speed seems to be researched, so they will be way more effective at this point of the game.
Yeah, this is something I have to work on. I just aim with the enemy main base, but my links arrived so much earlier than the rest of the army. This is some bad behavior. And also Lizzie is pretty good at throwing the army away. In the last fight, all the Baileys thrown into the tanks and the Marines cleared the rest of the army.
Yeah, it seems that but with that kind of economy that Lizzie is having at the moment, it's not a problem to make a bad trades.
Yeah, but it was a pretty bad trade. And when the Terran had about 80 workers at this stage of the game, it wasn't a too big loss because the enemy army is so big that I couldn't stop him before we maxed.
Oh yeah, I understand.
But in this stage, 13 workers, so that's basically game over.
Yeah, that's correct. What I have to say for Spud, he's actually able to make quite good this creep tumor clearing behavior. It's actually systematically clearing up all the tumors on the path. And unfortunately, it's slowing down the army also.
Yeah, but I think it wasn't in order to clear the creep. He was on the order to attack my base, but the Raven was with him, so he was able to detect the tumors.
Oh, yeah, that has to be the case. Yeah, you're correct. Okay, I can do that.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, Crypt. How are you doing?
Hi.
Yeah, pretty good.
Was an interesting game on the King of the Hill last Sunday. I just looked at game on a Monday on my way to work, so it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's been really good actually. Had some fun ones, especially with the Tempest there. I think Mind Me has been improving his Tempest play certainly. It's pretty good.
It was actually interesting to see, even though additional pylons had a bug in it, it was still able to take those games quite nicely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
think
think
that's
I think it
Go
made
ahead.
up for its bug quite easily just by sending so many nexuses around. And
Yeah,
so yeah, go ahead.
it was impressive that it was able to win even though it had the bug. So it's a still solid bug even though there's something wrong in the code.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is our weekly Micro Machine game versus Sharkbot this time, and it seems Sharkbot is doing some proxy shenanigans against Micro Machine.
Micro Machine have also a proxy barracks, but only one. Seems like a Marauder
this
with
be the-
concussion cells.
Yeah, I think it has to be Marauders because of the concussive cell. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But Marauders are kind of bad against Void Rays.
Yeah, I think those units are relatively useless against Void Rays. But we do have the Sharkbot main is basically undefended totally.
Sure, but I think Micro Machine is not able to produce any anti-air, and the Marauders couldn't clear out the warp gate because of the Void Rays.
Yeah, it's trying to build the pylon, not pylon, the missile turret, but I don't think it's gonna get there in time.
Yeah, those Void Rays will be killing the missile turret before it's able to
Yeah,
get up. Yeah, and now I understand those Marauders can't kill the proxy buildings because, well, they just can't shoot up.
yeah.
So this
As
this
long
is
Sharkbot will defenses.
Hello.
yeah, basically this is Sharkbot win.
Hey.
Well played. I have to say this is well played.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent build here.
Where are
We'll
the
skip to the next
Marauders?
one.
Oh, the Marauders was stuck by the barracks. Oh,
You're afraid to finish the game.
in the chat, there's more. Don't skip. But now it's too late.
Sorry, that's too late. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I think I got my audio working.
That's good.
Yep, we hear you perfectly fine. I decided to check this one out. Chance is one of my favorite bots at the moment. Sorry for the last. I was a little bit too eager to go to the next game. I really thought it was the game. So yeah.
So is this a planetary rush?
Oh, nice.
Is it okay? Seems interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a planet.
Mm,
He has an engineering bay and
Hans actually made one SCV before it started building the planetary, and he's starting to mine on the natural.
That's funny. No reaction at all, too. Like cannons to stop it, which doesn't quite make sense.
yeah, I wonder what chance has like coded into like what happens if the other bot doesn't attack at all, like or doesn't react to this planetary. The plan is probably that they come down and suicide, but if that doesn't happen, does it attack itself somehow? Or
yeah.
Well, if it doesn't happen, he's
Additional
up 2 bases to
pylons.
1, basically.
yeah,
And
but
and additional panels builds 2 stargates, so without missile turrets, this will die really pretty fast.
Yeah, but 2 Stargates on 2 gas geysers isn't too scary.
Yeah,
No,
but
when all
without
you
missile
have,
turrets,
yeah, when all you have is offensive planetary forward growth, that's not good. Like it'll eventually get a Tempest out, I'm sure.
Tempest.
Tempest or Void Ray or anything that shoots on the ground.
Yeah,
Not Immortals, no.
not the worst things, but yeah.
So basically, Hans isn't expanding anymore. He's happy with the 2 bases only.
Which is
Well,
fine when your opponent's on 1 base. I don't think those
Yeah,
Immortals
so-
can get out. They're blocked by a gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So they could dig through a planetary, but they're not going to.
Why are the Marines stepping back? There's nothing on the other side of the map.
They probably
have
just
no
keep getting
idea what-
vision of enemy units and then losing vision as they go up and down the ramp. So they're probably just going forwards and backwards in response to that.
Yeah, you might be correct about that.
The Immortal is completely stuck in between the Stargate and the photon cannons.
Yeah, the Marines will have to dig them
Maybe
out.
Yeah, the Marines will do the job for him. So this kind of strategy, it's a good in bot games because you have to specifically code something to encounter for the planetary in the main. You can't just run your zealots or stalkers to the planetary. They will just die there. So you need something specific for the planetary. I think immortals are a good thing. I don't know how many immortals you need to actually take down the planetary, but they seem a good unit for that purpose.
I mean, if you've got a couple of shield batteries at the top of the hill, top of the ramp, sorry, then you can do it with probably about 2 immortals, I'd say.
yeah, or you could just kill the SCV when it's
Yeah,
like building the CC.
There's a lot of time between when you SCV arrives and that becomes a planetary fortress.
Yeah.
I think some good logic just for attacking with workers in the early game. And then it can handle things like cannon rush, proxy hatchery, this proxy bunker, all that sort of stuff.
Also, he got
Yeah,
2 Stargates, but only built 1 Phoenix.
One
Yeah.
Phoenix per.
Yeah, I think MindMe was saying in Discord some time ago that it's essentially it's sort of evaluating that the fact that it builds a Stargate doesn't necessarily mean that it will build Stargate units like forever. That it's sort of evaluating what it needs and then building something it thinks it's important now.
Yeah, I think additional pylons likes to kind of react to what your opponent's doing. So for that reason, he likes to kind of open up all the different tech paths so all the options are available. So if he wants to build Immortals, then he knows he has a Robo. If he wants to build Carriers, he knows he has a Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. So sometimes he builds an early tech structure and never uses it for anything.
Yeah, well, he did make Phoenixes, but it might be just that he doesn't have that against the planetary should build some Void Rays or something.
Yeah, I think I have seen some of those counter tables from additional pylons, and it looks really good idea. For me, it would be impossible to make that kind of code, but it sounds so good idea to actually evaluate the enemy army and build counter for it.
Yeah, I don't think it's too out there for difficulty to write that sort of code. Because, I mean, you must have some sort of function to decide what unit to build out of a gateway or a barracks. And you can just kind of make that decision based on what you know about the enemy army.
Yeah, could be possible.
Like you probably do that with your Vikings, for instance. Like you're probably building Vikings based on what sort of air you need.
Well, I do have a really simple one. If enemy has 2 air units, I build 16 Vikings, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty simple.
It seems to be working. If the enemy is going to the air, they're probably going heavily on the air. So, well, yeah, it's just something that has been tested and seems to be working okay-ish.
Vikings
But this
versus
game
Void
will
Rays.
be, yeah.
So this is where the new patch comes into effect, because Vikings used to be faster than Void Rays, so they could kite them from range. That's not true anymore, since we're on the 5.06. Void Rays and Vikings are the same speed. So every time the Viking stops to shoot, the Void Ray will be able to shoot as well. So you can't really kite them as well as you used to be able to.
Basically, it's evenly matched units at this point. Or more evenly matched than previously.
Yeah, well, in straight up fights, the Void Ray will slaughter the Viking, but the Viking can always back up towards help, you know. If it backs up into a missile turret, for instance, then it's hard for the Void Ray to chase, because the Void Ray has to be the chaser, because it's shorter range.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my bot can get caught off guard from early Void Ray stuff, because I don't really scout for it besides one scan. I think if I see a Stargate, I'll start getting Vikings. But
do you
looks
beat
like my
the
scan
proxy
caught it this
Void
time.
Rays?
Can you repeat?
Do you beat the proxy Void Rays to get Rokamin?
Is that Prism Beams? I think I beat him.
Yeah, Prism Beams and Sharkbot does it also.
I think so. I had a problem where if I retreated all the way back to my own mineral line, I stopped kiting. So I had to fix that just because of the proxy Void Ray stuff I was facing.
But so does your bot make Cyclones, or with what does it beat them?
It beats it mostly with Vikings and missile turrets.
Okay.
I mean, I have Cyclones. I'm not sure if they help at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a specific counter unit like the Viking was supposed to be.
Triple Stargate. Seems like a lot of Banshees.
Yeah, but as soon as I see those Void Rays, I'll probably go back to making Vikings. I'm not sure how many Vikings I make per Void Ray. It's probably pretty close to 1-to-1 though.
If you have some units to back the Vikings up, it sounds like a decent amount to have.
Yeah, I don't, but the fact that I'm always backing up against the Void Rays, hopefully I lead him into missile turrets or something. Yeah, so this is where he can chase them down now instead of getting all the free kiting.
And this is actually a good point from Mertmore that Void Rays are able to hit the ground. That's a huge benefit for the Void Rays.
Yeah, they're pretty useful units now. They used to almost never get made. And a little bit of a speed buff, and all of a sudden now Void Rays are very, very common in human play.
Yeah, this is something what I have understood also, that they're really common, especially when you're doing some kind of cheese with the Void Rays. That's become on the human ladder quite popular, as far as I understand. I don't play on the human ladder, but I look the videos.
Yeah, you can proxy them with shield batteries, but just the fact that they're more mobile now, like they're even common in just like versus Zerg opener, because you know they can get from base to base and deal with different attacks.
They're pretty scary because Zerg have only the queen, and when the queen dies because bad positioning, the Zerg is basically broken because no anti-air.
Yeah. But
and the Protoss can micro the Void Ray pretty well because he can just back up the weakened ones and the shields regenerate. It's pretty hard to kill Void Rays when they're microed.
That seems to be good strategy, actually, to back up on all different directions with the Vikings. So you get a little bit more room to play with the Vikings around the Void Rays.
Yeah, the pathing I use with my Banshees, I apply that to all my units when they're under threat. So once they get into Void Ray range, they start looking for pathing, so they don't just like back straight up towards my main base anymore or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So sometimes I'll end up like wrapping around the enemy, just not by plan, but you get like a full surround sometimes.
So it's not planned, but actually it just does happen sometimes.
Yep. Actually, for a while I was planning to do it, where I'd have my army purposely like circle around behind, and it made for some really cool fights. And when it worked well, it was really good. But it also meant sometimes I get behind the enemy army and get chased back into his base, and I'll just lose everything, get stuffed into a corner. So I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be getting behind the enemy. That's not the safest place to be.
Yeah.
So I switched back to code that's a little more defensive.
What about just an idea? If you would be backing up towards closest missile turret or something like that, would that be an option?
Yeah, I mean there'd be special cases for that though, right? Because what if he's between you and the closest missile turret? You never want to be retreating into the Void Rays, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
But you do kind of want to always favor heading back towards your bases because that's typically the safest direction. So if that's an option, you should do it. So for instance, you can say, which I think is kind of what my code does. Like if I just back up towards my main base, is that a safe direction? And if it is, I'll do that. And if it's not, then I'll look for the closest, safest direction.
Okay, sounds.
Why are
reasonable
the
idea.
Banshees always driving in circles?
I don't know. They keep moving, keep their speed up. If they stop, they have to accelerate again.
Ah, okay. I understand.
But mostly it's because like that's a byproduct of just the way I coded it, where they're always moving like a certain distance towards a certain point. So they'll keep overshooting that point and coming back and overshooting and coming back. So even if they can get to where they want to be, they'll always be moving. Yeah, Merkmore is right. I think the Void Rays probably outgunned the Vikings in that game, but the Banshees just killed like 1,000 probes, so it didn't matter.
Prison
Actually, if you put a
beams.
shield battery in a mineral line, it's impossible for a Banshee to kill a probe. Because they can regen faster than Banshees can kill them.
But the shield
Okay,
battery
I
can run
didn't
out of
know that.
energy.
Yeah, until it's out of
Yeah.
energy, of course. But then you can refill it with overcharge if you need to. What a lot of pros do is they harass with 2 oracles or they harass with 2 banshees.
Yeah,
And that
the
way,
one
if they
shot.
both shoot at once, then they can kill the probe before the shield battery can do anything. But us bots just harass with 1.
Looks like again proxy void ray.
Speaking of proxy void rays, you might be seeing it here.
Yep, Prism Beams had it again.
So is this the bot that beats Micro Machine? I heard him saying that he has difficulty with proxy void rays.
Yeah, I think it has at least beat sometimes. I'm not sure if always. I actually had a
Yeah,
funny game
I
against
think-
Prism Beams some days ago where I went and killed all these proxy buildings. Then I continued my normal game. Prism Beams came and built it all back up, and then I lost.
Oh,
and I didn't scout for it anymore, obviously, because I killed it once already.
It is nice to see a bot that's actually not just building the shield batteries, but using the shield batteries. Like whenever he loses his shields, he retreats back to where the batteries are and doesn't engage again until he gets regenerated.
Unless they ran out of
Yeah.
energy.
Yep. But just that one battery and one Void Ray Road alone just killed about 5 stalkers there.
Yeah, it's a really powerful combination. I have to admit that.
Oh, he used a shield battery to repair the Stargate. I'm not sure if that's a good use of that energy.
no, it looks like this proxy is pretty much gone.
Yep.
It's a nice response, I think.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Jump on top of it and kill it early if you can.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of resources and time to take up the Stargate. Where going to Stalkers, you can do it right away.
Yeah.
Prism Beams has some trapped probes in his mineral line too.
Does Prism Beam has any backup plan, or is it just the proxy void rays?
Well, it's not building anything. I think it's at least against me. I've seen that it tries to build the proxy again if it dies, but it's not sending a probe. Or is there a?
Let's give them up.
There's no supply block or anything like that. Well, there's something going on with the code. I hope we are not seeing last of the Prism Beams. It's an interesting bot.
Yeah, I think we can skip this one. Then there's nothing to see anymore.
Yeah. Should I keep this one or Ketrock? Will you do that?
Sure, I can do it.
Okay, brilliant. I won't touch anything and wait for the Getrock. And this one will be between Additional Pylons versus Getrock. We do have 4 games left.
I noticed you just beat me on the ladder today too. Additional Pylons and myself have been going back and forth a bit on the victories, I think.
Yeah. I know he's been putting in a lot of effort recently, so it's definitely showing.
Yeah. For a few months now, actually. It's
Yeah.
nice to have another very active Protoss on the ladder.
Yeah.
We went from having like almost all of our authors being Protoss to all of our Protoss authors just disappearing.
Yeah.
So
I think it goes in cycles.
yeah, we got Sharkbot now, and we got Additional Pylons being really active, and then we got some new bots as well.
New bots are always welcome. Welcome to the ladder.
I haven't watched many of the replays, but I think when I lose to Additional Pylons, it comes down to the Tempest. But maybe it's a different build that's beating me nowadays. I still really need to go back and update my code for my Vikings. They're very suicidal, which is kind of luck whether it works out or they just all commit suicide.
Yeah, it can definitely work out sometimes for them if you just dive on top of the Tempests, but obviously has to be in the right situation.
There's no backout code for the dive. So
yeah.
Sometimes when you first spot an army, like just when it comes into vision, you see like 2 Tempests and a Stalker. And you're like, oh, okay, I can dive on that. But once you commit to the dive, you realize, oh, behind that there was another 15 Stalkers, and then you just give away all of your Vikings because you have no backup code. Yeah, but that was like a year ago I wrote that, I think. The other issue is that code is especially ugly, so if I'm going to fix it, I'm probably going to have to rewrite it all, which is more of an investment than I want to do right now.
Yeah, that's the problem with something like that.
This whole project has been like me relearning how to code. So
well, you're doing pretty
just
well.
Like based on my
so...
commits, like every month I go further back, the code is just uglier and uglier. So
yeah. Well, you're doing pretty well, so
yeah. Well, I mean, you don't forget how to write logic that works. But you can get years behind in how to structure things properly, or forget even how you structure things originally.
I will be
As Phoenix are respecting Vikings. I haven't seen a Protoss player do that before either. Because realistically, a Phoenix never actually has to take damage from a Viking. Because they can move way faster than Vikings can. Yeah. Speaking of suicidal Vikings, I think we traded about 16 to get like 3 Tempests.
Poor Vikings.
The most annoying thing with dealing with Tempest is that they can shoot from the fog of war. It's really hard to code stuff when you don't know that the unit exists or where it is. You can kind of get around that with siege tanks because, you know, the place you last saw them sieged up is probably the place they still are. But you kind of do that logic with Tempest since they're always moving in the fog of war.
I mean, I guess you can kind of like work out how many there are, but you don't know exactly where they are is the problem.
Yeah.
How far can the Tempest see? Because they don't. They can shoot far more than they can see. But when they are alone, he doesn't. They can't fight. Shoot so far.
I don't think the range is as big as the tank. Probably by
They can
quite a
shoot
long way.
10. Most units can see between 9 to 11. So usually by the time you see a Tempest, it's already shooting at you. So if you're trying to like stay out of Tempest range, that's really hard to do because I'm seeing a bug here. My SCVs aren't supposed to be scared of units when they're by a planetary or a missile turret. I added new codes for my SCVs to try to stay alive, but I gotta fix that up a bit. Because you don't want to be like running away from zealots when you're mining from a planetary fortress.
For the Tempests, you actually need only one unit ahead of the Tempests to give a vision. So if you have like a 5 Tempest, one of them spots an enemy unit, then all 5 Tempests shoot and then they back off. So it's not too difficult to actually manage the Tempests on the battlefield. They are rarely alone. Example, here they have a lot of ground units to support them.
The weird thing is too, even though additional pylons and myself are like going back and forth on wins, the games never look close. It's like either the Tempests get up to that number where they overwhelm, or they don't, and then it's just like really easy to handle them.
For example, in this game, additional pylons is way behind on the worker count at the moment. You have almost double on the worker amount. Even though,
Okay.
yeah, now
You must
I
be
see
behind a
what you
little
mean.
bit because I'm down to 20 workers. What I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, your entire
we're at
supplies and workers,
1330 in the replay.
Okay, so I'm 9.5, so I will catch you guys up.
Yeah, my bot's pretty good at macro. I put a lot of priority in expanding and keeping the worker count as high as possible. That's it's really important in this game. You really want to have as strong of an economy as possible.
Yeah.
It's not the
something I find like bots are often either very, very good at or really, really bad at. Like there doesn't seem to be anything in the middle because they'll either just build up loads and loads of workers all the time, or they'll skip workers and start just running to attacks on like 10 economy or something.
Yeah, I don't really have any logic for when to stop making workers. Well, I mean, besides reaching a certain amount, but I never say like, "Oh, I'm dying. Maybe I should put all my resources into army right now and stop making workers." I could be desperate to get a Viking out, and I'll still prioritize building an SCV instead.
Yeah.
I do have something for the SCV production. I do have the global variable, how many SCVs can be produced maximum at any time.
Yeah.
And I think I have, if I have more than 1,000 minerals in the bank, I stop the SCV production at that point.
Yeah, that would kind of work because that would probably only work when you're maxed out in banking.
In my opinion, you should never have more than 1,000 minerals when you're not maxed out as a bot, because you have the ability to multitask and to produce to use all your money.
Yeah, that comes into play when you're basically maxed out and the enemy is chewing up your workers. So I'm in that case, I'm just building army units and not SCVs at all. So I'm basically giving up the SCVs and building army instead.
I also kind of extend on that logic to build production as well. So if you try to build army units because you have enough resources for it, but you don't have any available production structure, then that's probably a good time to be adding on more production.
I do have something similar. I think I do have the initial buildings, what I build first, and once I get enough bank, I think it's something like 500. After that, I allow the bot to build more production buildings or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went.
When Zerglin got out to distract Whalemean, will that give Lizzie time to get back into this?
Now the Zerglings are distracted in some way, but I'm pretty bad at the moment against the early aggressions. So like the 60 links, because of the first pool, at the moment I can't defend this.
It seems that Whalemean has decided just to deny the natural and not to go to the main.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we had this. It has the same. I think this is the same sort of bug that it had. Was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? That it's just like going to the natural, even though there's nothing there.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing something like that.
Yeah, it kills the natural,
Yeah,
and then it just stays there instead of going to the main.
And the slings are actually able to distract Whalemean's army. They are just pulling those links out of the natural.
Oh, he actually saved up links. He was spinning them out 2 at a time earlier and just slowly dying. But this time he saved them up and was able to expand. Okay, so that's going to be a big comeback then, probably.
Yeah, Whaleman is building a Spire on the low economy.
Yeah. If you look at the army supplies now as well, it's hugely in Lizzie's favour.
Yeah, looks like that, yeah.
I mean, Whalemean has no drones, which is a problem. Whatever he's trying to do, he's not going to be able to do much of it.
I mean, he's got 4 bases, but like, it's obviously not going to saturate them onto any workers.
Maybe because he only wants the gas for the Mutalisk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
I guess if you're only building mutas, you don't care about lings, then maybe you can get enough minerals off of a 20 worker count. But even doesn't look like that's the case. Just looking at the resources, he's got 600 gas banked up right now.
Yeah, with all those queens there, that's not going to be healthy for him.
No, oh, he's losing to the queens too. Oof.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid creep spread in the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't go out because of the links.
Yeah.
He was also building creep tumors like behind his mineral line because there's like a centimeter of his base that wasn't covered in creep.
Well, it takes a while to clear that creep.
Yeah, but you need an overseer to do that.
Yeah, you're right.
But you see, Whaleman uses his drones to build, to construct buildings and doesn't replace the drones.
I mean, the worker count was slowly going up, but like you said, he's building buildings as well, so
Yeah.
it goes up and then goes down just as quickly. So he's always hovering between like 18 and 20 workers.
Whalebeam definitely needs more workers because the game is going on, progressing
Yeah.
forwards, and
The macro
It's
is pretty
just
bad
stuck.
for Whaleman.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a build that's not meant to go to the 10-minute mark. It's like, let me flood
Yeah, I
lanes,
think-
and who cares after that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually the start of the game for the Whalemean. It's really solid.
Yeah, because it's easy to code early attack and to win the game with that.
So just looking at an old conversation though, but someone was mentioning sensor towers.
Oh, this is
Or I
also
think for
in
Tempest.
the newer version of my of Lissy. She does now the circling run buys to kill drones. There are no drones left anymore. And also the links are clearing the base now because there's nothing left.
Yep. It's a matter of time now.
Okay. Yeah.
One Muta to defend.
Basically, this is GG. Do you guys want to see this to the end, or should we skip to the next game? I think we do have 2 games left for tonight.
Yeah, I think we can probably skip this now. I think it's quite
I'll do it.
obvious. What's going to happen?
Okay.
Any bot against tier.
Yeah, just wanted to see what's going on in this game. I think I lost this game quite fast, so just wondering what is happening in this game.
Interesting placement for the barracks. You build the depots on the wall, but the barracks in the middle of the main base.
Yeah, I don't have a code. I built the wall with the depots only.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you got to
that was-
like float the barracks later when you want to put an add-on on it, which can make it a little bit more complex.
Yeah, it was easier to make only with the 3 supply depots. So that's the reason it's done that way.
Oh, I should check some games against Antibot. I think I finally have code that doesn't ignore nukes anymore. And you're the only bot that was nuking me on the ladder.
Yeah, I
I should
don't
see how
get
that's
wins
turned out.
anymore.
I don't understand
Yeah.
why more people don't use that.
I have also many things to fix against any, but like you have the minefield strategy where you put these widow mines everywhere, and obviously the bots see the widow mines, but then like if I don't have detection ready and no scans up, my bio just runs over the widow mine and dances around there until the scan is up. So it's not very good, very nice. They just get blown up.
I've seen a lot of Terran bots. They will build up the Raven, and then they will waste all the energy from the these orbital commands on the scans. So basically, the enemy is wasting all the energy for the widow mines. And when they are systematically trying to clear the minefield, it's taking so long that I'm able to build actually proper units behind it.
I do the same thing on the human ladder in TVT, and I get the exact same benefits. Like you put out widow mines all over the map, and it gives you amazing scouting. It's like creep. It's, you know, when the enemy arrives, it takes a hit, so he'll lose a marine, and then he has to scan. So that means he loses another 225 minerals they didn't mule. And yeah, so there's like a lot of effort for your opponent to clean it up and a lot of value and a lot of scouting. There's just like so many bonuses because no one makes ravens in the human ladder. Terrans always rely on scans.
Oh, that would be cool to see, actually. Do you have the replay still available?
Oh yeah, it's like every Terran game I play, I do that. Ravens and widow mines.
That was interesting. Tyr sent like a zealot group to the third base. They didn't do anything, but I haven't seen that attempt. Not sure if it does that like often.
Yeah, I think Zealot and Zergling run-bys is something that can be really powerful in the bot world. Because one of the problems with it in the human world is it's hard to keep them focused on killing workers. But that's not something a bot would have an issue with. You can charge into a base, and even if there's a cannon there or a planetary, you can still go directly after killing all the workers.
Yes. But also
I've
for
seen
the
Gen Z
enemy
do that
bot,
with little marine squads too. Oh, that's a big attack.
Yeah, the Anibot's composition doesn't seem to be exactly optimal.
No, once the zealots
No.
disappear, it might start looking a little better. But
There was just enough zealots to keep cyclones away from the stalkers and immortals. So I think this is turning really bad for the Annie. So when you look at the worker count, well, Tyr has already 3 times more workers left. So I think this is GG.
yeah,
It will not take. And this was a short game, so it has to be something like this.
when you said short, I thought you meant you're going to get worker rushed or something. Shorter.
Yeah, but I think a lot of games with Annie goes over 10 minutes mark. So because I'm trying to focus on the late game and trying to defend the trying to detect those proxy and every kind of cheese. So I'm always trying to head to the end game, to the late game. But yeah, we all know how this is going to end. There is just going to walk over the Annie in this game.
It doesn't look
Kefrok,
like you're doing very well.
do you want to skip this one?
Sure. Yeah, your structure's got a little bit in the way there. Your cyclones in the front that were trying to kite backwards are getting blocked by the cyclones in the back that were trying to capture a lock.
Yeah, that's not a good place to try to do the micro between all the buildings.
But that happens to all of us. I don't think there's anyone who tries to micro as a group. It's always like individual units do their own thing. And when they conflict, there's no way really around that.
And this is the last game for the night. This is Turpy versus Bomb Shaker.
Yeah, or everyone does make ravens, but only in the early game. Once you swap that tech lab off the starport, you never see a raven again, even if it's like a 45-minute game.
The human ladder?
Yeah. 2 Reapers into 2 Cyclones into 2 Ravens is very standard in the
Yeah.
human ladder.
Is he proxying something? Oh no, CC first.
It's not going to be good against this build, surely.
I think Bomb Shaker does a typical or a similar build to myself. So I think you're going to see a Planetary Fortress at the natural.
Yeah.
Where does spots go for PF in the natural? I mean, the orbital gets so much more value with the mining.
Yeah. And almost every StarCraft 2 player will agree with you. But for some reason, I like to go Planetary at the natural. It has a lot of advantages, but I don't think all those advantages add up to the missing mules, because early game mules are so important. But it allows me to tech up really quickly and have almost no army. So I can be really greedy in that way. It also allows me to take 4 gas at the start of the game because I can open CC first. So it's got some major advantages.
It's
Yeah, and then I think
quite
Bomb Shaker kind of
impressive.
copied my human play with the Mass Raven, so he does that. And then I think I was able, but the Planetary helped me versus certain builds that Micro Machine was dying to, so he decided to make a PF at the natural build as well.
So basically, you set the trend, and everyone was like, "That sounds a good idea."
Yeah. And then Scarlet came to our community, and then it was just this big embarrassment. It's like, why are all these stupid Terran bots building planetaries at the natural? Doesn't anyone understand this game?
Yeah.
Does Scarlet have an active bot on the ladder at the moment?
Yeah. Well, that flat 48 is going to be perfect for her drone bot. Because without any terrain blockers, she can, the way she's coded it, she can keep her drone stacked anywhere on the map. So she put up a little YouTube video on the Discord that made it look really strong.
I think that's completely true.
In fact, I guess we could pull a replay from that for next week, just to highlight exactly what it is, since it's something new.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She didn't make it active on the ladder yet, I think.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like any replay from the flat
but
48.
but I was because I was thinking of making a bot like tomorrow or something for the flat 48 ladder also. But because right now basic bot is number 1, which is the house bot that AMOs SCVs. Because no other bot actually works.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're on like Sharpie framework, you're gonna have to turn some stuff off, I guess. Otherwise, you're gonna crash right at the start of the game.
I think it's best to make a blank bot and start from there, because it's meant for the worker rushes, and I think you don't need Sharpie framework for worker rushes, I think.
Yeah, like the Python SC2 doesn't crash on that map. So I'll just start from there.
My worker rushes are all reliant on stacking up on a certain mineral patch, but the mineral patch layout on that map is really weird. So the way I worker rush can't even work on that map. So I'd have to build something from scratch if I were to put something up there. But for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's a little ladder competition where it's basically 2 spawns right next to each other. So basically what it comes down to is worker rushing.
You definitely want to worker rush on that map, and no late game builds on there.
Well,
Is
I mean,
there any
if that
gas
ladder
available
ever
on that
developed,
map
it would
either?
turn into macro games
Yeah.
because there's is the advantage to defending the worker rush instead of being the one who's actually rushing, because you get to take in more resources. So then, if the advantage is to defend worker rushes, you're going to end up with two bots that are just defending, and then they'll end up actually having to macro at that point if neither bots are willing to commit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I don't think the meta will ever get that developed. It's probably just a little sample thing that'll disappear in a couple months, I would guess. Auto turrets.
Yeah. They're not so good against Colossus, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, Colossus are
Yeah.
terrible against auto turrets. I know that much.
Really? I thought they would have been better.
No. Colossus is basically terrible versus everything that Terran has, except they slaughter Marines.
Yeah.
The
They do
planetary.
bonus to lights, and they do really good splash damage in a line.
The mines.
So if you're a Protoss author, build them against bots that are making bio, and don't build them against bots who aren't making bio.
Yeah. Tyr tried to push into the natural planetary with 2 tanks there. Didn't go so well.
No. I mean, you had a couple immortals. If you had, say, 4 immortals, it might have gone well. Zealots are a nice way to waste all the auto turret energy. The weird thing I noticed about Bomb Shaker is that he always runs out of minerals, even though he's going Mass Raven. Because his Ravens never actually die, or very rarely die, but he's always losing Hellions.
So what would be the solution to reduce the Hellion count or build something else?
Well, I mean, it is a good thing to put your extra minerals into. You just don't want to go overboard with it, I guess. Like if your minerals are ever... If your gas is ever more than double your minerals, you should stop making Hellions, for instance. Like if you got 1,000 gas, you want to make sure you have at least 500 minerals. Otherwise, you can't put that 1,000 gas into Ravens.
Yeah.
But it's just something that happens because it's a long game, and you're going to run out of one resource before the other. I just found it kind of funny that a Master Raven player is running out of minerals instead of gas.
Is the Bomb Shaker repairing those Ravens at all? I haven't seen that behavior from Bomb Shaker.
Is he doing what, sorry?
Repairing the Ravens.
I don't know. When we watch on this community stream, we don't really see what's going on outside of the fights. He might be sending back Ravens to get repaired. He might not. I think he doesn't repair them, if I recall correctly. Yeah, this is a tougher army for Auto Turret Planetary. Whole bunch of Zealots and Immortals.
Quite funny.
Very good
The
versus-
Immortals are destroying the PF, but doesn't kill the SCVs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do the bonus to Armored, so it does kind of make sense for them to concentrate on the Auto Turrets and the Planetaries.
But there was Stalker with them and Colossus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in this case, the Colossus are not not the unit that you want to be spending on.
No. I mean, they have range, so it's going to be hard for the Colossus to die, but they're not going to be doing a whole lot here. Oh, and with Vikings, they probably will die, actually.
Oh yeah, Vikings against Colossus is a one-way trip for them.
But for instance, Colossus can shoot planetaries and auto turrets outside of the range of those, so they can do damage without taking any damage back. But with that said, they're still not that very useful just because their damage output is so low.
Yeah, but that's only if they have the thermal lance upgrade, surely. So
Yeah, I think he has that.
does he? I didn't see that in the armor upgrades. If you look at the upgrades that's showing on the screen, don't think he does.
I think that just shows weapon and armor upgrades
Okay.
there. Yeah, I can kind of just eyeball it and see that they're shooting longer than the base, which is what, 6 range or 7 range. It's pretty short range when they don't have the upgrade.
Okay.
You can also mass Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix are very good versus Ravens.
Yeah.
A lot of people think Ravens are armored, but they're actually light units. So Phoenix do like double damage to them. Not to mention how much faster than Ravens they are.
Yeah.
I really
When I
want
face
to
Phoenix on the ladder, and when I'm going Mass Raven, it's you gotta be very careful with your Ravens. Always have places to fall back to that's safe. Places with missile turrets or places with widow mines.
I really wanted to see a parasitic bomb into the clump of ravens there.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Very strong. Not as strong when it comes to bots, though. Very easy to peel off the affected unit. You know what you can code for a human, too? Because one of the main parasitic bomb targets is typically Vikings. You can actually land the Viking when it gets targeted, and it'll break the parasitic bomb.
Okay, I didn't actually realize that.
I think the parasitic bomb will be still there in the air, but doesn't move anymore.
Yeah. Same thing if the unit dies that has a parasitic bomb on it. The parasitic bomb will still always last the full duration. It'll just hang out in the place where the unit died, or the place where the Viking landed. In the API, it actually creates a unit. It's called like parasitic bomb dummy unit because they still need to attach it to something.
Yeah.
I like the wall of pylons in the main base.
Yes. No power issues there.
Yeah, I think this is getting very close to being over.
Yeah, bomb checkers got him here.
Yeah, I think we can call for the night. Hey, thank you everyone for participating in the stream, and hopefully we will see some good games next Sunday when there's next King of the Hill, or is there?
Yes, there should be one on Sunday. We've yet to secure an opponent, but we're looking at it. Maybe even you. I've had one person drop out so far, and I'm not sure if Raph is going to be taking up the challenge just yet with Micro Machine. But yeah, we'll find an opponent, and there will be a stream on Sunday. So check it out. It'll be
I
fun.
have a suggestion for that. Maybe not give people the option to be the opponent or not. Because you know how we kind of have the issue of like each week the next opponent always beats the previous guy.
Yeah.
Part of that's to do with sniping, but part of that's to do with people only accept the invitation if they know they're going to win, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, okay, like the 6th place guy is up next and they have to go in either way, then there'll be a little bit more chance for a bot to maintain his championship.
Well, I mean,
for me that wasn't really true. I had a 0% win rate against Sharkbot when Crypt asked, and I knew I had one day to work on it, so it was a bit unclear.
Yeah, you're the exception.
I mean, the one option that people have suggested is we take the version from the ladder that was there on the previous week, no matter what, rather than giving them the week to update. So that's another option which we could look at, which is possibly the better one. I prefer, but we're looking at ways to make it a little bit more fair anyway, because having the new bot win every week is going to get boring pretty quickly.
Yeah, I like the idea that you take the bot from the ladder and they have option to update it. I think that would work quite nicely.
Yeah. We'll see anyway. And possibly just giving the champion the option to update the bot as well would be a better option.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, anyway, thank you everyone.
Yeah, could you? Yeah, one question I have. Is this a stupid idea that if you allow the champion to update, but you don't tell the champion who it is playing,
Oh, yeah, I like that.
that you can sort of fix things and change things, so it's sort of harder to be sniped maybe, but you can't sort of just snipe the opponent as the champion.
Yeah, that's possibly an idea. Anyway, we'll look into it and probably figure out some changes pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks.
Yeah, cheers guys. It's been fun.
Yeah, have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Out of here.
See
Okay,
you
good night,
guys
everyone.
next week.
Right. See you.
Bye.